Guess what? Tis our last day with a Skillshare sponsor. To keep you entertained while we do that, I will show you me trying to do cartwheels. A huge thank you to Skillshare, an online learning community with thousands of classes covering a variety of fields like fine art, illustration, graphic design, marketing. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working their fields so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. If you are into a painting, you might find valuable classes like the Beginner Guide to Oil Painting on Understanding Color. Skillshare is an affordable learning platform with an annual subscription for less than $10 a month. Through the link in my description, the first 500 people to sign up will get a 2-month free trial. So take advantage, try it out for free, and decide if it is useful to you. As I just did a lot of failed attempts at that, I want you to remember the theme of failure for this video and be very forgiving. Today we're working on the attempt. Well, it's not today. Today you're watching me work on my attempt at filling an entire sketchbook in a day. Just so you know, all of the paintings in this will be available on my website unless I hated them. Also, I have a P.O. box now. Pop in the address. So if you want to send me anything safe and enjoyable, feel free to. See you guys after the video.
So here's the thing, I got a new phone and I didn't take the plastic covering off of it, so the audio from my vlog footage is pretty much terrible on this whole first day. Basically what I'm saying here is that I went on a shopping trip. I was debating between my normal sketchbook, which is 60 pages, and a watercolor sketchbook by the same brand that is 30 pages. I decided to go for the 30-page one.
I'm playing kind of a risky game because it's raining. I put a tarp on this to give me some protection. I like to paint outside. It makes me happy. So, retry it.
Welcome to the voiceover. A couple things I want to get out there. I am truly deeply apologetic for the terrible audio quality you're about to experience with all of these vlogs. Second of all, I want to explain a little bit the structuring of this video. You are going to have small clips of vlog interspersed with me narrating. I would like to also apologize for this narration. It's going to be very off the cuff. I have a shocking confession. It is now 4:05 a.m. I am pulling an all-nighter, so I hope you're ready to saddle in for an interesting ride.
It's very blustery. I'm kind of scared.
Throughout this voiceover, I would like to talk about a few topics. Number one, we'll talk about a little bit of the technique and thought process that went into these pieces, some of the challenges I encountered with doing this artathon-styled video that I haven't encountered with my previous ones, and also I want to talk about what some of my interests are with pushing my art forward and with what these explorations are teaching me and where I want them to drive me as I move on, how that could apply to you as well, as you've been kind of following this whole journey through experimentation and refinement of the style process, creation. Okay, so yes, I'm absolutely exhausted. I kind of already forgot what those key points were going to be, but let's see if I can remember all of them. Okay. Methodology. Let's talk about what I thought about scheming out these different images and what some of my general thought processes were. Number one, using masking tape was really important to me because I wanted to give these an overall more polished look, but I knew that I had certain time constraints. Use a hairdryer when you're done to break the adhesive of the tape. By heating it up, it will just peel off without ripping your paper, but you can create these really nice boundaries and then it'll give a certain professional appearance to your overall image afterwards, even if you are doing something that's more fast-paced. As you're about to see in this vlog, timing was definitely a concern for me in this video, more so than with even my other artathon videos. So we'll talk about next why that is so.
I'm not going fast enough. It is 1:53 right now and I have 6 paintings done. That's it. Ooh.
Over the course of doing these different experimental pieces, doing faster pace type formats, I have developed some techniques that I like to go to help inspire ideas, give me creative constraints, generate content. Some of that comes in with using mixed media because of the different qualities and effects and random chance type things that happen. Even using and reusing the same tape, the way it collects paint, and some of that bleeds into my materials and takes away some of my control so that I have to respond to paint that bleeds into the image. I was really enjoying using mixed media as well, building up layers with watercolors, then acrylics, then adding on colored pencils, developing my layers and colors and detail work. Something I highly recommend as an exercise, if nothing else. And while I was enjoying all of that process, the thing that was really tripping me up this time doing an artathon is my desire to invest more in the pieces that I was making. At this point this is my 5th artathon video. In the previous ones, I started out with really selfish reasons. I wanted to be able to explore my art style, try new things, make exactly whatever I wanted to make, and really the only concern was, how do I put this into a format that is easily digestible and interesting for YouTube content? Thus was born Artathons, 24 hours painting straight, a week locked indoors painting, a week outside painting, painting 40 paintings in 10 hours, and now this. All of them have been extremely challenging and rewarding, fun and hard. And while I was in a mindset of the importance of quantity over quality for idea generation and exploration, I've gotten to a point now where after about a year and a half of exploring and experimenting and not really totally knowing what my style is, I've come into learning some different techniques and visual cues that I'm interested in that I want to dive more into. I think at a certain point it is important to start to invest, to specialize, to really dive into the things that are most drawing to you. So throughout this entire process, I had this real quandary. Do I play more to what my key desires are right now to really sink into some of the concepts I've been learning, or do I really stick with this challenge and go quickly? Ultimately, I did sort of a balance, but I kind of wasn't perfect on either end and ended up breaking some of my time constraints. In the spirit of full disclosure, I have to tell you, this is where my first day ended. You see, sometimes you just have things that come up that you need to do. And by that, I mean sometimes you need to spend time with your roommates and take care of yourself. So, all of these paintings did get done within 24 hours. You'll see how that goes. But it was 24 hours spread over 2 days. Yeah. So we're about to go on to our second day of painting, and let's continue. In keeping with my original concept with this video, I decided on the second day that I returned to it, I was going to finish all 30 of these paintings within that defined 24-hour period. You'll kind of see how the evolution of that takes place and what sort of things I decided to do to make that possible for me. I'll let you infer some of that just by the visual cues in front of you in this video, but what I really would like to get into talking about is some of my interests now, after having this period of exploration and where it has led me, what I want to do with it. Have you ever heard of conceptual art? Now, this is something that is talked about a lot in different art programs. Hopefully you've heard something about it, but the basic idea is there are aesthetic components, meaning the way things look, to visual arts, and then there are conceptual components, meaning the ideas behind them. I think a lot about the beauty of poetry and music and lyrics and the messages people are able to tell with those. And then I think about my own experiences over the last few years of my life and how valuable it would be to channel some of that into making art that was really impactful and meaningful. That's something I think about. I'm not entirely sure how or if or when it's going to happen, but I am interested in exploring more some of what my conceptual ideas are, some of what influences me, the things I think about on a regular basis. Honestly, a lot of things about existentialism, philosophy, human nature are on my mind a lot. And so I wonder how I can make my art more personally relevant and fueling by infusing some of those ideas, even if it's just on a metaphorical base, into my paintings, and what that could do to amp up the viewer experience as well as my personal experience with making my artwork. That said, I am a very visually driven person. Some people will value conceptualism on its own and take away and strip down all of the aesthetic aesthetic components. Some people will have a balance of the two. Some people are strictly interested in the aesthetics. I think I'm closer to that category of interest, but I have in the past, with especially my senior show when I graduated college, dove into concepts. And this really came through in exploring themes of death after my dad died and infusing some of my emotional experiences into my artwork. So that is one interest. And the other interest that I really want to talk about is really exploring and accentuating some of the liberties I've given myself through my experimental process to deviate from my standard format, which used to be hyperrealism, and now, as you can see, is more of an abstracted attempt at the landscape, or just abstract explorations of color fields and shapes. Things that I really tended to sway away from before, but now I'm seeing increasing interest in. So I guess as I move forward, the things I really want to think most about are my aesthetics and my concept. I would like to see how I can take my past interest in landscapes and hyperrealism and marry them with more abstract and metaphorical thoughts and also visual cues, abstracting landscapes, adding more imagination, and really learning to value all of the different components that I find visually and idealistically intriguing about art. But I think my encouragement I want to leave you with this week is just to really sink into what you're most inclined towards in art and give yourself the liberty and freedom to explore that, even if it's different from what your ideal concepts in your head are or have been through time of what art should be. Give yourself freedom, and then after you've explored, gather up the best pieces of what you've learned and see what comes of it. Okay, I realize I talk about myself a lot, but the real hope is that by sharing my personal experiences that you are able to see yourself or your own struggles or successes within those and be able to draw more personally relevant information. Please, I hope that is the lens through which you listen to all of this. Take everything with a grain of salt, or take what you need and apply it to you. It is all about what works for you in your own practice and what you need to hear at any given moment. That all said, what do you guys think about the pieces that I made during this? I think that there are some real highlights, some less interesting ones to me, but it always seems to be the case that ones that I like aren't necessarily the same as what you're all interested in. So yeah, what do you think? Even doing this process right now, it is cool seeing in these 30 images what are echoes to previous times in my life, different stylistic influences I've had, little character traits that pop up in multiple of my paintings. Anyways, I am so exhausted. It's 5:27 now. I'm almost done editing. I really hope to just give you the most valuable content that I can, and if there's ever any kind of subject that you think would be good to approach on this channel, let me know in the comments. And yeah, time to finish this and go to bed. Night, guys.
Hi, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you are subscribed and following me on my social media accounts for more content throughout the week. If you would like to be involved joining my Patreon with challenges and additional content, click that link down below or search me at Robin C. Lark. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in there.